let me take the pleasure of welcoming all of you to the second series of Support Local Art talks that is taking place as we speak now. It is organized by ARTRA in association with Saskia Fernando Gallery and supported by National Trust Bank. So to give you a bit of context about these series of talks, they're online, and they're also to provide a larger understanding of the different roles that partake in the art ecosystem. And the beginning of the year, last month, we in fact did a talk with the Art Foundations, where we explored the role that they play. And during this talk, it is with absolute joy that we take on the role of understanding the artists from our very own Sri Lankan artists, and those who are also based in Sri Lanka primarily now. So to help you all understand the journey of that artist and explore the practices and the myriad of forms, we've got celebrated artist Anoma Wijewardene, who is based in Colombo and whose work I find very much steeped in nature and beauty. And so much so that poetry also becomes a part of it in a literal and an illiteral sense. And we've got Fabienne Francotte, who's a Belgian artist who's based in Colombo and moves about very much so around the world, showcasing her work at different exhibitions and also museums. And what I always find very interesting about Fabienne is that she calls herself an obsessive artist who thinks in fragments. And very much so does her work reflected. So we're very excited to also explore that. And then we've got Hema Shironi, who is someone also from Sri Lanka, of course, but now currently based in Colombo, but born in Kandy and brought up in Martale. And in fact, her works are also riveting to a point where she explores myriad of mediums, specifically those of embroidery, and also mythological imagery. So something that I find truly insightful, given the fact that she also brings in a larger conversation through cultural ideas. So on that note, we welcome all artists. And to keep it simple, I'd like ladies to pose you all the question, what it means to be an artist. Anoma, can we begin with you, please?
Yeah, I found that quite an interesting question, which had actually never been asked before. And I thought, well, what does it mean? Because, you know, that's all I've ever wanted to be, and that's all I've actually been, which I designed and lectured as well. But it's been like not a question for me, like, you know, what does it mean? That it's me, it's my life, you know? So I think for me, it's actually essential to me. It is actually my breath. If I'm not actually creating, if I haven't got some paintings on the go, it's as if I'm sort of itching, and it's as if I'm not actually breathing correctly. So it's that crucial to my life. And of course, I didn't really understand that at the beginning, but I now, after 50 years of art, I realize how vital it is to my life. So for me, that's, you know, not something I can choose almost, you know, it's chosen me. And for me, it's my life's adventure. It's very much like exploration. It's a journey within myself, and it's a way for me to answer the questions, my existential anxieties, the things that really concern me. So yeah, so that's really what I would say. I would also say it requires that one is constantly, for me, that is, challenging oneself and pushing myself, again, like an adventure into something I don't know. So that way I'm forever traveling. So it's my travel journey, if you like. And it's a lonely journey, actually. It requires very rigorous, in a way, narrowing down focus, obsessive lifestyle, if you like. Yeah, what else can I say? That's, I don't know, mostly that, you know, it doesn't mean, what does it mean? It means that, you know, I don't have choice. This is it. This is mine. This is it. I don't know if that answered it.
No, it does. You're clearly a sentimentalist, Anoma. I love that you have so much of, emotion involved even in your answer to what it means to be an artist, because it becomes so much more potent. Fabienne, how would you take this on? What does it mean to be an artist for you?
Well, as an ex-teacher in a previous life, language teacher, I would say that art is a language. I think it's translating the world around us, which is about geography and time and space and imagination, and ideas and actions. I think being an artist is being part of a project that could be taking the ordinary and seeing it as something extraordinary, like feeling something by observing the many people we meet on the way we are reacting, and composing as well with the unexpected, the interaction with the people, which my work is based on, like feeling the distance and the proximity, writing the fragments of these feelings and mark making about cultural differences, recording all these moments and their echoes. I mean, how they resonate into me, and also translating that world of emotions in a way, exploring the private and the public as well.
Very illustrative.
Yeah, I thought about it.
I know. Very
Just to wrap a bit about what I've been doing for the last 10 years, as I've been in Sri Lanka for 7 years now. It changed also my language and my way of expressing myself. So because you came of this with this question, being an artist, as Anoma, I never thought about it. And it was even difficult to say, oh, what are you doing in life? Oh, I'm an artist. I mean, which like, when you say that, I mean, it says something, but what does it mean? It's a bit tricky. So that was my way of wrapping the ideas about it.
Right, you provided definitely a very deep understanding to what it is. Thank you. How about you, Hema? How would you perceive it?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. And also, I'm so glad to share the panel with Fabienne and Anoma. Art is not a job for me, being an artist. It's my lifestyle. So the way, the way I speak, the way I dress up, the way I do my stuff, and also the way I cook, everything based on art. So without that, I couldn't imagine what I can do. So I'm playing a mini role to being an artist, sometimes as a researcher, sometimes as a stranger. So investigating myself, within myself, sometimes with my society, what's happening around, mostly as artisan. Artisan means it's not I'm doing something multiple, but the time taking to complete one work. Sometimes it's take 4 months, sometimes it's take 1 month. So that pleasure I cannot get by any other job. So it's emotional language which is totally connected with me. I can express with my own language. So I feel like it's a comfortable zone sometimes, but that's what shaping me to be a human.
It's very beautiful that you bring about different perspectives and different roles of you in your artistry, and as your it makes it so much more interesting also. What I also like to ask the panel is, do you all personally feel that you all are taking on social responsibility by being an artist, because it is sometimes assumed that art should impart and it has a function? Has that played an impression upon you, and do your work or does your artistic practice address it consciously? Anoma?
Can I answer that after the others?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure Fabienne would be happy to take on the first. Always.
Well, I think we have a responsibility in the society because we establish, in a way, a dialogue with the others. It's not only about us. It also focuses on the other, like becoming the other or being the other, which was once a title in 2019, to invite the viewers also to be the other for the time of the round, the touring at the exhibition. What is it? Questioning ourselves and the responsibility we all have about the way we behave and about the minorities and the people that are leftovers. So for me, yeah, the many conversations we have, the interactions, the special invitations or the correspondences with different communities, and also my practice, which is the drawing together experiences with people, like regularly. All this together makes me feel more human. And by inviting the viewers, I think, to step into our soul, we are opening also doors for everyone. For me, this is only happening because it's like going naked. When you produce the works, like you go to the essence of the thing. And when I say naked, it's unguarded, like without protections. And I think because I'm going naked, it enables also the others to share, the people to share their joys and sorrows, or their private, their secret corner, because I'm doing it as well in a way. And I think in Sri Lanka, it enabled me to build up a kind of memento, giving voice to those who are forced to remain silent, and feeling empathy. And maybe the responsibility we have is about reevaluating our image of humanity, which I think the world right now is very complicated, and this is something we seem to forget, just to be human and respectful. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
I suppose by your personal response to your artistic expression, your engagement invariably does play that role, perhaps, like you very correctly said. Hema, how about you? Do you see it as a moral responsibility?
I cannot give a straight answer for that, because I feel it's depend with art and the artist. So as a human, we all are we all are trying to make a better life. So we all are work for that. We all think we have a responsibility to build a good society. So artists also included there. So even in a history, when we look at the art history, there are many masterpieces which is change whole world. So it takes time sometimes. So in my work also, there are some works which talk about society, but with my personal experiences. So I'm not directly speak about the social things, but I'm working with my personal experience. Some artists are consciously working for that, but I cannot say everyone working for that. But it depends on time and the location.
Interaction makes it also social. That's very correct.
And also audience, how they're going to look at the work. So the art critic, how they're going to write about one work. So it's depends.
Perhaps now?
Yeah. Shall I? Yeah. So I'm be a little not controversial, but different, I think, because I know both of your work, and that we are concerned with being responsible. And I know mine has been since 2005 on climate change, and then since 2006 on peace, reconciliation, diversity, unity, and then also personal transformation. So they're very, if you like, governed by these themes of being responsible. But I do believe that artists do not have a role, do not have a responsibility. They are the pure art. It's pure art, and the pure art, whether it's music, whether it's composing music, or whether it's poetry, whatever, I believe has no rules, no laws. It is a personal expression, and we're very, very lucky that we can actually do that. If you're a designer, if you're an architect, you have to do a building. If you're any other creative, is an applied art, and you have to actually then provide an answer, whereas an artist can be anything. I don't know if you know, I read recently that Cezanne painted 270 apples in his compositions. And he's a great artist, but they're just apples, right? Bridget Riley, the art painter, just did stripes, which is a great painter. So what was she saying? Was she being responsible? So my position is that, an artist can be absolutely anything. There is no responsibility. There is no, we can't legislate that an artist needs to provide anything. Having said that, I am personally only very much inspired by an idea to do with how we interact with society. My existential concerns about our society, whether it's our environment, our climate, our love for each other or hate for each other, or what governs us, and whether we can actually find a way of improving our lives. So while we say that, I would also say, no, I love the fact that artists, like poets, like composers, and they're about the only people who are free to be utterly irresponsible. So,
and in fact, I remember Deliverance back in 2012, the exhibition that you had, which is very advocative of the environment. And you also interacted your works at public spaces. I remember at the Dutch hospital back then. Yeah. So I think you have played a very large role in also bringing in the social function, and it has been absolutely admirable. Seeing the works evolve since then, and before, of course, that's very much who you are and your works.
It is, but I stand for the fact that if you want to just paint apples, do it.
And on that note, Anoma, I've also been very fascinated by the inclusion of poetry in your work. Well, you're very multidisciplinary in the sense that it's not just the mediums that you become, you experiment with, but also with different artists like Ramesh Gunasekara, the celebrated author of Reef, has written poetry for one, and which I thought this was particularly playful and a little spirited, which I'd like to read. Its title, Is It You? Is it a smile? Is it trick of the light? Is it true? Is it you? Can you give us a bit of an understanding of that poetry, how that took place, and its relation with the work that it's collaborated with?
Part of the work that I did for the Venice Biennale installation. And so we also did the video as part of it with his voice, with the poetry, which is 16 pieces of lines that all work together, but are very separate as well. So, and the paintings are also like that. So they were very separate things, but they all came together. And it's this sort of layering and melange of different ideas and different approaches that we want to use in the whole installation. And I had asked Ramesh, can you write like 2 lines or a little piece of prose about this? Because I'm not good at writing. Right? I could have asked you. Right. But anyway, I asked him. And Booker Prize nominee after all. And then out of the blue comes this, having looked at the work, comes this amazing set of poems that go with the paintings. And so like that, I love it. Because as I said, I find it a very lonely job. I don't have a partner. I don't live with a partner. So it's very lonely working alone. And in a way, it's fantastic to work with different people And so I've worked with poets, with people have composed for my work, dancers with Venuri installations, Jehan Lashes, we did a whole, with his actors, a performance piece for video, and scientists.
With Ramya Jeera Singh, I believe in 2015.
Yeah, in The Deliverance, she wrote the most amazing project.
Yeah.
And just by looking at the art one, you know, she looked at the art, came down the stairs from the library. We were in the library looking at the art. And then she came down the stairs and she fell on her butt. She said she was so off, you know, in the paintings that she fell out. She cracked, I mean, she actually had to wear a car cushion for 6 weeks. It really hurt us.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, out came these beautiful poems, amazing poems. So it's fantastic, these collaborations, and I work with scientists because of the environmental things, and I work with political analysts like Sarah Muthu and people like that because of the quest, which is when we first met.
Yes.
All about peace and reconciliation, and so a variety of different interactions. Yeah, we've probably talked long enough. Maybe.
Yes. No, because I think throughout the years, every time we do interviews together, there's always an interesting poet or a laureate that you bring in, which I've always found very fascinating. You bring them all together, sort of, but in their own languages of a work that is visual. It's absolutely beautiful.
I expected to mix with scientists as well, but I had to for the time. Yes, exactly.
And Fabienne, I remember the first time I met you, I think it was in 2018 or 2019, and we were talking about your faces, the different myriads that you had. And also, I remember you were sharing some of the personal stories that you had with each individual, the ones that you came across in your neighborhood, to those who started working when you came to Sri Lanka, and sort of, became friends. And what I interestingly found through the years, these faces, it's almost like a symbol because it's seeped in your works. And then at one point, it becomes different parts of the face, like the very beautiful work that's right behind you, which is of the lip. So could you give us a bit more of an understanding of this symbol that you have?
Why I moved one to another? Well, I mean, I've been drawing faces for a long time. I mean, bodies as well, when I was based in Brussels. But with the face and the gaze of the Sri Lankans, all of a sudden, I mean, it became like something that was talking directly to the people. And the reaction is immediate because once you see the gaze of somebody, you get access to his or to her soul, which was the title of my first exhibition. It's like someone took my soul, and there were like 30 Sri Lankans on the walls. But then after that, I'm concentrated on other different strats of the society. I mean, drawing faces as well. I came to the lips thanks to a workshop with the MMCA and with Sabine and Shadia. And then I started, on the ground with, all Sri Lankans around me, I started to do embroidery, and I didn't know what to draw. And we were speaking about voices. There were curtains from, I don't remember the name of the artist at that exhibition. So I said, okay, then I'm going to draw lips. I drew the lips first, and then I embroidered them. And they were weird. But they provoked at the same time the same kind of reaction the faces provoke. It's like they look nice, so you're attracted, and after 30 seconds, it's like, oh my God, well, what's the message? Because it's a bit disturbing, and at the same time, it's inviting you to reconnect to something that you didn't expect. So then I started to embroider the lips, And then also in my last exhibition about abuse, I also drew parts of the body on cardboard, brown cardboards. I think the identity and the body as a whole has so many things to say. That's how I moved to ceramic as well, to clay and to ceramics, like, I mean, shaping 30 kneecaps, where the pain, when you have pain in the knee, I mean, is something that hurts and something that it's very difficult to get rid of. So I can explain why to change the medium to express myself, but shall we leave that for later, or?
Yeah, perhaps, but no, it makes a lot of sense. I guess when you even meet people, it's a face that sort of helps you understand the persona and the intimacy through which you perhaps can relate to. So and what I find most evocative about your work is that it's potent in emotion. It's almost like you make feelings tangible. And
yeah,
and
oh my God.
Certainly is that window that brings it about. So in many ways, more than one, it becomes the most evocative symbol for you in transcending that particular.
So like the curtains were conveying the same thing. There were text on the curtains.
Yes.
But the people that were entering the room were telling me,
yes, it was ghastly.
It was
so
about a
emotive,
sensation, not an explanation.
Really.
Yeah, true. I
Hema,
don't know what I'm going to do next.
we can't wait to see.
Don't come up with this
Surprise us with the emotion this time. Hema, during our conversation, you were very much moved by your grandmother, a very strong maternal figure. And through your works and many of your exhibitions, I see a lot of that character in your work. So, and being also an artist who is female and having that relationship with your grandmother, how has it influenced you and your work, or has it played something larger in its place?
She's my biggest inspiration. Yeah. Before all that, she's a good storyteller. So she loved to tell stories. So first of all, she asked me which story you need to listen. That means my life experiences or a fairy tale. So what I prefer, she used to tell me. So still it's going on. So her life experience, the way she lived, and also she's a good traveler. So her kids got scattered due to the war. So with her, I travel a lot. So I can give one example. During a peace talk in 2003, when I was 12 years old, I traveled to Kilinochchi with her. So the way we travel, the time, everything does matter to me. And also, she lost her 6 kids during the war. So then after our family, not only her, actually, there are many other female who leads family around me. So my family, many of my relations and my aunts, they leading the family. So some are disappear. One of my uncle disappear. So, so how the time changed their life. So these actually become my subject matter with her experiences, and what I take from her, and also what I'm delivering to through my work. It's not only her story. I'm actually connecting her story with other people as well. So sometimes there are many, nowadays my parents are living in Kilinochchi. So there are many family leads by female. So some are widows, some are still waiting for their partner or their kids. So this kind of family living there. So their story, it's totally connected to my grandmother's stories as well. So these are the influence what I'm doing recent past. So it's kind of a terrible, but the sense of her story is really means to me. So her embroidery, of course, while she telling the story, she usually stitch. So that what's happening to me as well. So that's what I'm also doing nowadays. So she just collect old clothes and make a bed sheet, sometimes make a pillowcases for us. So while traveling, she take these things to give to her kids. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with what I'm love to experience and what I'm like to explore through my work. So she's the one who is giving a big role to me. Yeah.
And that's very beautiful. And I think not just as artists, but I think as individuals, grandparents always hold a very special place. And like very correctly said, they love to narrate, they love to share the stories, and in so many ways they impart and we sort of take it on to the next few generations. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
First time. Also, we have before we open the floor for questions, I have one last question for you. And what I'd like to probe is your artistic process. How exactly does it take place? Is there something like a frigidity to it, or is there a fluidness? Does it change at different points? And to what extent does your mind also play a role when you express yourself visually? Anoma, would you like to start?
Okay. So I think it's quite hard to express exactly where it comes from because it seems to come from different angles. But the key thing for me is my sort of emotional life, and it comes from a place of my concern or emotion, and that's what sort of fuels the process first. It might be a reaction to something. It's been a variety of different things that sort of started a series or process, a particular for a collection or series, and then it goes through lots of different aspects because it's also that I then need to kind of analyze it and write about it and make notes. And so the process is sort of first emotional, then whatever into the thinking process, analytical kind of side of it. And then actually when I'm actually doing the work, then it's almost becomes a kind of, there's a sort of spiritual aspect to it as well, which is like a kind of meditation and a kind of focus and an awareness and a kind of, all that. But I do a lot of reading and writing about, because my subjects are kind of, not political, but activists, I suppose, whatever, and they end up being that. So it starts with that, and then weeks and weeks of working on sketches and sketchbooks and composing ideas. And it may start in one place and then end up somewhere totally different. I might start with, this is going to be oils, and then it ends up being a video, because that's what is required by the actual, the medium is dictated, if you like, by the theme or the idea or whatever. It's sort of, and again, I suppose with art, there's no like format that work, you know what I mean? It just is things coming in from different angles that picking in, and you're sort of going, whatever. So it kind of flow. It's very flowing. But of course, also what's terrible is, of course, sometimes, you spend months maybe going down one track and thinking this is the way, and then you have an aha moment and then, no, let's turn. You should be shaking your head because, it's happened to all of us. So then you have to turn around and, either you get stuck for months, which has happened to me, months, and then sometimes try that. We are all laughing because we all know this process, right? I assume. So it's in that, for me, a series or even a painting is a bit, I've never been pregnant, so I don't know. But I assume it's a bit like a pregnancy because there's a time in which it's just stating very quiet inside you. And sometimes I find that things that have sparked me maybe years ago in some place else suddenly starts to grow like a baby inside me, and the idea kind of expands and expands and expands, and then suddenly it's ready to come out into a piece of poetry or a piece of, you know, a drawing or something else that I've read that somebody has said. So yeah. So I don't know what this process is, but how can I do it like that?
I know you reminded me of that book, Araby by James Joyce. He talks of streams of consciousness, this non-linear form of thought. And I think that's what makes artists also far more riveting, because their work become the emulation of everything that's abstract and, you know, fragmentary, but at the same time flowing in many ways as well. Thank you for that. Yeah. Fabienne, how about you? How do you process your art?
I have been trying to explain this for a long time. I think now, for the number of times I was asked about it. What did you say? That I'm compulsive and intense. So I journal everything in diaries. And I think the writings were, have always been part of my life. I started to write in 1972. I still have all these books, and this archive, those many manuscripts, books, 78 so far, comprised drawings, but also a lot of writings, like written letters. And I think it gave my work permanence, my whole lifetime. So yes, I collect data, I read a lot as Anoma, I do research, and then I try to elaborate a kind of breeding ground for my stories. I don't sketch, and I can remain like weeks or months without drawing anything. But to translate this, it's like the stories and all what I have been putting in my head function as a kind of resonator, like inside me, like under the skin. And then all of a sudden, all the vibrations are amplifying in a way that I can feel all these strong emotions and atmosphere. So in the middle of the process, I'm also able, with the 20 years of practice, to turn up the volume. I don't know how I can do that, but I can feel it. I can feel it coming like an injection of fuel. And it happens quickly. And I also like to use chance. And I work with accidents and mistakes. And the result is always unpredictable. Like in the morning when I come back, I do that late at night when I'm out of control of the things that I want to do, so that I have not that stress anymore. And in the morning when I wake up, it's like, oh my God, did I do that? It's always a surprise. I started to draw when I was 42, and the surprise is still there. I can't explain, as Anoma said, it's very difficult to put words like this, but it's like I'm focused and at the same time disconnected. Only the hand is working behind my brain and the medium, the support. So yeah, it's a kind of magic, and I work for that.
Like sporadic outbursts. Hema, and yourself, do you find yourself in alignment with both the artists who see the non-linearity in their forms?
what I want to say, they already spoke all things. So I'm also not do any pre-sketches. So subject matters and medium is more important to me. So when I start to work, the technique part, it's come in flow. So I'm not like do any pre-sketch. So just do whatever I want on my surface. Sometimes it's take time to finish. Sometimes it's not. But as academic person, I studied painting, drawing, making sculpture and everything. And also in sometimes I not studied, but with my experience, I just grabbed embroidery. So I connected these two together to explore my visual language. So I grabbed embroidery patterns from, it's a like artisan part and also artist. It's a connection between two roles to make art. So I feel more comfortable to do that. As Fabienne said, sometimes I do work for too long, but sometimes I feel, no, it's not me. I want to do something different. So actually I jump to another medium. So whatever the medium around me, there is no any boundaries for medium to me. So I will work with any medium. So I want to stitch over it. So that's what I'm doing. So I feel comfortable to doing that.
No, I believe authenticity certainly brings about, the uniqueness to an artist. And I believe the artistic process, if it is stringently followed, it sort of perhaps would compromise on it. And on that note, I would also like to invite our attendees to also partake in the conversation and perhaps feel free to ask questions, because we have a few minutes that we have dedicated for you. So on your screen at the bottom, you would find the Q&A component.
I guess Fabienne is not here.
She is appearing, thankfully. Hi, Fabienne, we missed you during this few seconds.
Sorry.
So yes, so for those of you who missed out, we are opening the floor for questions from the attendees. So feel free to use the Q&A component at the bottom of your screen to type in your questions, and we will be happy to have the panelists share the thoughts. Their thoughts.
Can you hear me? I was disconnected.
Yes, very much so.
Back.
Yes.
I didn't hear the end of it, but of what Hema Shironi was saying.
We have something from Saskia. Would Fabienne like to take this up? Would you like to read it?
Okay. What is it? What's the question?
There is no question. She has posed a question at the end. So she says, firstly, I would like to thank you all for agreeing to join this talk. What a fantastic group of powerful artists. We discussed avoiding asking questions relating to gender, but how much of your practice connects with your agency as a woman? Anoma, we were discussing about this. Perhaps you'd like to illustrate now.
Well, I think it's very timely, and this is my third exhibition, I think, where it's only women, and I'm very excited to be part of that. And I think this is very, very important, actually, because it's only in the last, maybe in 5 years, that even the great art museums of the world have included women artists. I mean, there's even Venice Biennale, there's only like 20%. The Tate, the Met, they have all really worked very hard to include women. And I mean, women have been excluded in every field, but certainly very much in the art field. So I think this is very, very timely and important. And I mean, I'm like also shocked that it's still 2020. It's 2023. I mean, I've been going for too long, far too long. But in that time, I mean, I sort of was young at a time where I thought feminism, I thought women were really breaking through, that we would be fine. And yet we find that, you know, we're having to do the Me Too's, there's Harvey Weinstein. I mean, women are still so a minority. Why do we have, I mean, why are we celebrating in such a huge way International Women's Day and Women's Month? I mean, do the men have this? We're half the world. And yet we are like a minority still. And so I feel very, very disturbed, energized, concerned that women are still, you know, in so many parts of the world and in so many situations in such a deprived and struggling position. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say except that, you know, we all as women have to support each other more than ever. And so must the wonderful new men of the world support women, because we are half the world, and yet, you know, we are so marginalized in every field. And so I'm very thrilled to see that galleries and museums are really working hard to bring in women artists, which is very new, very few. It went sort of, you know, from less than 10% in several to much more, and to colored with female artists, females, as well as even ageism is another issue that, again, there are, you know, so it's fantastic that it's diversified at last, but we have, as women artists, a long way to go. So that's my, so did I go on about it? It's
so we have another question from Ashwini Kara, and she asks, what role does intuition play in your process? Does anyone want to take that up in particular? Philip, go for it.
Everything.
absolutely,
Everything.
yeah.
It's not about brainstorming. It is as well, but I think it's about intuition. Yeah. It's all what we feel at the end of the day. And also I was questioning myself about the role of memory and the role of emotions. Mm-hmm. After so many years, what we remember are the emotions, not the reality. We think we do. But as I've been writing my whole life, now when I go back in 1975, I remember the emotions flipping the pages, even in advance. But I am surprised by the facts. Like I don't remember these like that. So it's very interesting. So I think, yeah, the feeling.
No, you're right, because even as a viewer, what makes a work relate to you is emotion that it invokes. And in that, intuition plays a very large role for the artist, because that comes seamlessly. And when that is translated, it becomes a very potent subject also. So,
the people, I think, are moved by the emotions the artwork is conveying. Mm-hmm. And you can have a total different story. It reconnects with his or her own story. Yeah. And this is just, I mean, this is so great.
Yeah, I think intuition is one of the most important things for me as well, in terms of, I would say that I first started doing something on climate change as an exhibition in 2005, and there was no expression at that time as climate change. It was just about the environment and how small we are in the environment. That was more my sense of it. And when I think of what has happened since 2005 to what we are facing as an environmental disaster crisis, annihilation almost, it's incredible, because it's a feeling, you know. So that's how we work as artists. Well, some of us, clearly.
If I may ask, because most of you are multidisciplinary artists, you work with a different media. What exactly is the impetus to use certain mediums as opposed to the other in your varying exhibitions? How do you make that choice? Yes, Hema, would love
should
to
I?
hear from you. Yes, please.
Yeah. So yes. So it's accidentally happened to me. So it's a story. So in 2020 in Kuwait, so I was in university and at Beacon House hostels, we cannot go out. So everywhere is a lockdown. So even I can't back to Sri Lanka. So I was with 9 students from international students. I stuck at hostel, but our classes run by Zoom. So I need to work. So I don't have any materials for working. So I started to collect materials from my hostel mates. So leftover bed sheets, papers, junks, everything. I started to collect. Whatever they throw, I collect them. Then I want to work. So what's happened, I started to join sculpture studio as well. So there is no medium to do art. So I was stuck. Not only me, other students as well. There are 9 students. So I start to make sculpture out of fabric cut pieces. And I start to connect different medium together, which is, I'm not practicing before that, but the time and the location made me to think with the medium. And also I end up with the good pieces. Actually, I'm not imagine like that, but somehow I build different shapes out of it. So that's how it's happened. But nowadays, I can't say consciously, but I'm looking for a medium. So actually what's work with my subject matters. And also another incident, I was searching for a net. I couldn't get it. And I start to stitch on the paper. Finally, that process become art piece. So I was making a net, but finally that piece become art piece. So these accident things happen to me. Still it's happening. So that's how I am connected to the medium.
Does anyone else also want to take this question?
I can just say a few words. I like to use used mediums, like the ones that had a life before. And I'm representing the people, the unfamous individuals of the planet. I think these non-noble items, I mean, reinforce the idea that these people are beautiful. And but as I'm living in the fort, I mean, just to go to PETA like once a week is just like a treat. Nobody goes like no white one. They hardly reach the place. But I have my own merchants, could be fabric or Japanese fabric, like 30 meters, or I mean canvas from Dubai, like but they are second-hand ones. And it's marvelous because, I mean, it creates also a surprise with the work. So, yeah. And when you change country, as Hema Shironi said, well, I was doing clay here, but when I did that art residency in Kathmandu, well, the earth was totally different. It was mud. So, I mean, it's a surprise, but you have to work with it. It's an out of your comfort zone, and then things happen. But I think we provoke them to say something that she said that she had to do with this. I think, and it's still happening. It's like it's more than happening. It's like it's on the way. Like we provoke the things. But I can have a discussion with her as well about that.
Thank you very much. Yes, please, Anoma, go ahead.
Is that it's a necessity is also the mother of invention, that expression. And I think, sometimes it's because, that there's nothing else you can do. You're sort of seeking out a way to kind of express your soul. And other times, I think the idea for me actually dictates, like I think I said earlier, what will actually express it best, which way, you know, whether it's a video, or whether it's sculpture, or whether it's, you know, actually smell in one of my installations. And so I think it's just influenced by need of the need of the idea, as well as, like Hema said, you know, you're pushed into it and then you try, you know what I mean? You're pushed into a position, how do I do this? How do I do this? I can't, you know what I mean? And then you find a piece of cloth or whatever, because you know our desire is so powerful that we just want to create. And we will find anything that works, whether it's a piece of paper and a needle, like she said, you know. So it's our compulsion that actually drives it back to that again, I suppose. But yeah.
Thank you very much for those illustrative answers. Thanks again, dear artists, Anoma, Fabienne, and Shironi, for being a part of this
Lovely
wonderful talk.
to share all this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, because I think it's also very important. In fact, both Saskia Fernando Gallery and ARTRA magazine, this time we felt that through this series of talks, we want to give a larger understanding to the different components that make the art ecosystem. And then it makes it so much more interesting for those who also want to be a part of it. The newer ones to sort of see from where everything stems from. And of course, it stems from the artist. So all of you have been brilliant in sharing your perspective and also shedding larger light to who is an artist and what it means to be an artist. So thank you so much on behalf of Saskia Fernando Gallery, ARTRA magazine, and Nations Trust Bank, of course. And thank you very much, attendees.
Thank you.
Thank you, Azara.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We hope to see you for our next one,
See
where we
you.
explore the roles of art education, and that will be next month. So, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.